If you can't see us, can you hear us at least?
Senator,
yes,
we
you
can
can
hear you clearly.
very clearly.
So if you can't see me, at least hear me.
Yeah, we'll make
Yes.
do with audio for the time being, but we would keep our fingers crossed and hope that we'll be able to see you at some point. All right. Welcome everyone this afternoon to Ask the Candidates with Iso Bassey. So the Ask the Candidates is an interactive session with Cross River State governorship candidates. And it's an opportunity for Cross Riverians, both home and abroad, to engage with and put questions directly to for the position of governor of Cross River State. So this event is put to you by the Cross River Movement in partnership with the Africa Leadership Group, the Calabar Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, the Cross River Economic Summit Organization, and HIT FM, as well as other partners as well. We are glad to inform you that today's event is brought to you on HIT FM, courtesy of two sponsors, Tessil Solar and Quick School Manager. So Tessil Solar does solar and anything to do with renewable power, using solar. So reach out to them. Their website is available on the screen. We've also got Quick School Manager, which is a school management system designed for nursery, primary, and secondary schools across Africa. So thanks very much to our partners and our sponsors. So this series of events will run over 5 Sundays, and we expect to feature candidates from across the PDP, the SDP, the APC, the Labour Party, and the PRP as well. So joining us today is a gentleman who, to Cross Riverians, I think needs no introduction. His name is Senator Sandy Onor. I will read out an abridged version of his biography. Senator Onor is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He was elected to the Senate in 2019 to represent the Cross River Senatorial District in the 9th Assembly of the Senate. He's a professor of African history at the University of Calabar. He's an author of several books and articles. Senator Sandy Onor has served in various capacities. He served as local government chairman and also acting chairman of chairmen in Nigeria between 1999 and 2002. He was also commissioner for agriculture and later commissioner for environment under the government of Senator Liel Imoke. He served in various national committees of the People's Democratic Party at the level. Of course, he's a member of the People's Democratic Party, and he is their governorship flag bearer for the 2023 election. Senator, it's a pleasure to have you on this interactive session.
The pleasure is actually mine. I'm sorry you can't see me. I hope in the course of the interview, you would be able to, but at least I trust that you would hear my voice.
Okay, thanks very much. We have here Pastor Itwa Igodalo, who is the founder of the African Leadership Group. And Pastor Itwa, I would request for you to take the stage and make brief remarks to us before we move into the conversation, into the interactive session.
All right. Thank you very much for inviting me to this platform, Iso, and thank you for all the great and good work that you are doing and for the courage with which you have basically approached this whole thing. I'm happy because Nigeria truly is changing. Nigeria is changing bit by bit. And people like yourself are getting more and more involved with what is going on in Nigeria and so on and so forth. So it gives me a lot of joy and happiness that this is going on. And I'm glad that you sort of invited me to be part of this discourse at this point in time. And I know that perhaps one of the reasons why you've invited me to be part of it is because you know the passion with which I face the things in Nigeria and the love that I have with Nigeria. Now, our elections in 2023 are around the corner, and the choices that we are going to make during those elections will impact on the lives of over, well, at least in Cross River State, 4 million people. In Nigeria, 200 million people. And I think that's why you are trying to ensure that you give your candidates the opportunity to discuss, to converse, to find out exactly what they're doing and how they're doing things. And I think that's very, very important because it's part of what we are basically doing in the African Leadership Group. African Leadership Group, we set it up about 2 years ago in the midst of my pain. We had actually decided to set up that platform. And the African Leadership Group was supposed to interrogate leadership, not just in Nigeria, but basically all over the world, not just in Nigeria, but basically all over the world, to see how things will go in this, our great country. First of all, to investigate how Nigeria got to where it is today, how 62 years after independence, we're still crawling and we're not moving as fast as we could. And even the passing of the Queen of England further revealed to me the challenges that we are up against under colonization, and the fact that Nigeria, albeit Africa, were designed to fail. They designed it to fail, and you can't blame them. Yeah, the colonial master colonized the people, invested in them, hoping to get resources out of them. They insist on independence against your will. Naturally, you will set up a structure that will still benefit you in the future. What is bothersome is that 62 years after, we as Nigerians, we have not woken up to smell the coffee and to decide that we are not our own enemies, but we think we are our own enemies and we keep fighting one another. Even in your Cross River State, there's always quarrel, discussion, competition, rivalry, zoning here and there. Somebody's turn, not somebody's turn, go to central, go to south, go to east. Meanwhile, every discussion is being heard, but the discussion on competence and capability and the person who will love Cross River State and move Cross River State forward, you know, and these are the conversations we're having. So we're trying to find out what the problem is. After that, we're trying to find out what the solution is. How do we solve the problems of Nigeria? And how are we going to make Nigeria go forward? After that, we're trying to find out who is capable and competent to get involved in the issue of Nigeria and who is capable and competent to make Nigeria work. So there's also a leadership search that we're going through at this point in time, and it has turned up quite a few people. Right now, we're looking at criteria for leadership, and I think that should interest you on your platform. Criteria for leadership. What do you want of your gubernatorial candidates? What do you want of your members of assembly? What do you want of the team that the governor is going to choose? Any leader that has no vision and no understanding of where he wants to take the people or the state is not worthy of that responsibility. Any leader that has no exposure and understanding of international best practice and how things are working in other parts of the world is not worthy of that responsibility. Any leader that is not competent and hardworking is not worthy. Any leader that is parochial and narrow-minded and sectional, be it tribal, ethnic, or religious, is not worthy. Any leader that is not a people person and not a team player is also not worthy of that position. So we're looking at that criteria. And in your own local setting, you may have one or two other criteria that's equally important. It's a big job. It's a big business. It's a big enterprise. And you cannot allow princes to be walking and fools or servants riding on horses, which has been the bane of our society. So we're doing that also. And then the fourth thing we're doing is populace awareness, letting people know that they have a voice, they have a power, they have a strength, they should have understanding, and they should know their roles. So we're happy to be on this platform. We're happy to partner with you. We're happy to work together. We're happy to lend our voice and our resource to make Nigeria great again, not just at the federal level, but even down to the local government level. So if there's ways that we can push this conversation forward, we will be happy, we'll be excited, and whatever you'd like us to do, we'll be happy to come and do this for you. I think maybe I should stop there for the moment by way of my opening remarks on this platform this evening, and to thank you very, very much, Iso, for inviting us here and giving us an opportunity to say a few words. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Pastor Itwa, thank you very much for your opening remarks, your kind opening remarks. It's a pleasure to have you. Senator, we can see you, so that particularly excites us. And I think that I will just run through a few housekeeping rules and then we will jump straight into the business of the day. So you might already have noticed that we have disabled the chat facility on the conversation. That's intentional. We ask people to submit questions in advance, but we know that people on this interactive session will of course have questions. And so we made we made arrangements to be able to take questions live. So the link to the page where you can ask your questions is going to be posted on the chat. And if you have a question, you're encouraged to click on that and submit your question. And we will keep an eye out on that page and put those questions across to Senator Sandy Onor. So we shall dedicate, I think, maybe the last 10 minutes of this interactive session to open questions from participants on the Zoom call. So we would probably be asking you to indicate by clicking on the reactions icon and indicating, and then hopefully we'll give you the opportunity briefly to ask a question at some point. Now, when you have a chance to ask a question, we'd ask you to keep it very short and sweet, under 30 seconds, straight and direct. I would also encourage the candidate, to keep his answers direct and as straight to the point as possible, so we can get in as many questions as possible. And also, finally, in the course of this session, we shall be running some short polls just to gauge opinion on a couple of things. I would encourage everyone who is here to please participate in that. Okay, thanks very much. I think we will move straight into our first question for Senator Sandy Onor. Senator, a lot of questions have come in, and I'll try and put as many to you as possible. I think the first question that a lot of people are asking is, what sort of governor will Sandy Onor be? So if I'm to give some background to that, we know maybe Donald Duke was a very hands-on governor. Senator Lee Elimoke was a due process, man who wanted to make sure that everything went across his senatorial districts. The current governor is welfareist, 6,000 food on the table appointments, What sort of governor will Sandy Onor be? Sorry, you're muted. So if we can just, yes.
Am I muted?
You're unmuted now. Please go on.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Iso, and all the other panelists. Thank you, Pastor Igodalo, for finding the time and the patriotism to listen in and want to share and converse and contribute. Sandy Onor, going straight to your to providing an answer to your question, would like to be a governor that is responsible, accountable, and responsive. Sandy Onor would like to be a proactive governor that listens to his people and deals with their challenges timeously within the context of the resources available to the state and resources that he can use his exposure and contacts and connections to make available to the state. Sandy Onor would not like to be a governor that sits on a high horse and pontificates and imagines that he understands all the problems of his people. He would like to always share with them. He would like to listen to them. And he would like, based on that, to deal with the issues in such a way as will expand the frontiers of development in our state. Sandy Onor would like to take due cognizance of the fact that our state can run fundamentally on the twin pillars of agriculture and tourism. Agriculture, because our state, by nature and the gifts of God, is located in a zone that, if properly developed and re-engineered, agriculture alone can provide for our people and attract investors to come and deal and develop our people in ways unimaginable. We would like to take our people from the cycles of poverty that primitive agriculture offered us to new methods and ways of doing things that will attract young people into that sector, that will in such a way as to make them independent and make their participation profitable and exciting. We would also like to advance our tourism drive by ensuring that our tourism is sustainable and that the ecotourism ingredient in agriculture is consolidated upon and expanded, because we are a people who have these beautiful forest resources. And the forest alone for most countries of the world has provided so much for them. Brazil is an example of a nation that has benefited so much from the forest alone. I would like to hit the ground straight with re-interrogating the Bakassi question. And I'm not trying to be objective.
Senator, it seems we might be having some challenges with your internet connectivity. I don't know if you can hear me. If you're having challenges with the internet, we are happy to sacrifice video for better quality audio. Okay, I think while they try to sort things out at the end of the Senator, the link to the page where you can ask your questions has been put in the chat. So if you have a question that you would like to put across to Senator Sandy Onor, please click on that link and submit your question. And there you will be able to see all the questions that have been submitted. And if you think that a particular question is if you like a particular question, I think you can click on it to like it, and that way it gets to the top of the list of questions. So bear with us. We seem to be having some technical challenges on the part of Senator Sandy Onor, but we will hopefully resolve those shortly. Okay, Senator, you're back.
Yeah, I stopped with the Bakassi question, if you remember.
Yes. Carry on, please.
Okay, so I said I'd like to reinterrogate the Bakassi. There was a lot of illogicality in the whole explanation.
Senator, maybe we will request for you to switch your video off with the hope that we will get better quality audio.
And so that see what we can do. In any case, we believe
Yes, Senator, please carry on.
Hello?
Yes, Senator, we can hear you.
Yeah, so like I said, we'll interrogate that. We would also like to hit the ground running with the pot. We believe that instead of thinking about another seaport, the one we have is enough. Once it is properly dredged, you know, real business will happen, and we would harvest the benefits of backward and forward linkages. Our can get state back to be easily the cleanest in the country as it used to be. Then all of that put together, you know, will boost our economy, bring back confidence, get back investors, and make our state run at the level that we want it to run. I would stop there, and then we will continue as I take more questions.
Okay, Senator, the next question, you may have answered it to some extent, but I will still put it across directly. So people want to know what would be the top 3 priorities of a Sandy Onor-led government in Cross River State?
Okay, first is expand our agriculture and make agriculture profitable and make young people happy and willing to participate in it in such a way that agriculture will give us the kind of resources, will create the kind of employment, will expand our economy the way we would like it to be expanded. The second thing, like I said, is to develop our tourism in such a way that it will operate all year round as it does in other parts of the world. And the major kernel of our tourism will be ecotourism, because that is what is unique to us. Once we delve into that and give it the kind of attires our economy would like to achieve, because when that is achieved, all other things would follow, will be security. We are known to be a peaceful state. We are known to be a hospitable people. People like to come and live and be at rest in Calabar. Once we secure our area and our people, and Calabar and Cross River is easy to secure because of the geography of our state, people will come, and then we can deal with other sectors that will make our people happy, like health and like education.
Okay, Senator, thanks very much. So I think you've been clear on that, that the priorities of a government led by you would be agriculture, tourism, and security. Thanks very much. My next question is based especially on the fact that you were once a local government chairman. How important, do you consider financial autonomy for local governments to be? And should you become governor, would you allow the 18 local governments in Cross River State to be more autonomous when it comes to how they manage their finances?
I speak with all the integrity and the probity that I can summon. The local governments under my governorship will experience a reasonable level of autonomy and financial accountability. We need that. We need that because there is a direct connect between the health of the local government system and the well-being of the people. A lot across River State, I think 70% of our people live in rural areas. Once the local governments are financially capable of doing the basic interventionist projects that our people need, they can build markets, they can construct rural roads, they can intervene in the health sector, they can deal with welfare issues, they can handle maternal and child care challenges. Once the local government is put in that situation, a lot of our rural dwellers would hardly even care about what the state government is doing. To completely isolate local governments from their funds is to sequester them by that
Senator, we are once again having challenges with hearing you.
From their capacity to develop the people. One of the biggest is the fact that the local government, because this is so, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh my God. So, well, the point I was just making is that one of the challenges we are facing now across the country is a function of the stifling of local governments. Because if local governments were properly funded, a lot of the ungoverned spaces that we're having across the country today would not be. So in my state, under my governorship, local governments will be given the liberty to try and to do work in such a way as to impact on the local government system for purposes of development. That I can guarantee you.
Okay, Senator, thanks very much. I'm going to jump to Slido where we have some questions that are coming in real time. So someone is particularly interested in knowing what plans you have for women and girls in Cross River State should you become governor. Especially considering that they constitute 50% of the population of our state.
The taste of the pudding, they say, is in the eating. Since after Cecilia Ekpenyong became governor or deputy governor, this is the first time a political party is handing over the deputy governorship slot in Cross River State to a woman. We have a female candidate who is young, 41, and who is a woman and who is capable and competent. And we are sure that in itself alone is indicative of the fact that we mean business for women. It's not just lip service. We're going to get women completely and thoroughly integrated into the scheme of things in our government, and we're going to get youths to also participate. Because that is the only way to ensure that there is momentum and virility and verve in the conduct of the affairs of government. So, I mean, for us, there's already evidence about what we intend to do and the direction we are going. We expect Cross Riverians to trust us.
Okay, Senator, thank you. I'm going to take another question that's coming on the Slido platform. This person is interested to know how accessible how accessible you will be. Can you hear me, sir?
That in our government, women will be given their yes.
Okay, carry on. I didn't realize that you hadn't finished.
Yes, I is a politician. You can
carry on, please. Hello, Senator, can you hear me? All right, so while we're sorting out the audio issues on Senator's part, please remember, I can see a lot of questions coming in on Slido. Please keep them coming in, and don't repeat the questions. So if you read through the questions and you see something that you like, that you think that's similar to what you want to ask, you can just vote for it so that it gets to the top of the list. Senator, someone here is asking, how accessible will you be as a governor? I think Cross Riverians are very, maybe over the years we've seen different styles of leadership, and people are a bit wary of having someone out there who they can't access, who is there and distant from them. I don't know how accessible will you be as governor?
I understand the fear of very recently in the last 7-8 years they have been bombarded with all sorts. So I understand that fear. But let me assure you, is one of the qualities that I share. I mean, feel the heat, get out of the kitchen. I know what it means to govern people, and I'll be available to them. And this, beyond everything else, is a function of my background. I am, first of all, an intellectual, a university teacher, and then I was a local government chairman. If you do not learn how to be accessible as a teacher, how to be available as a local government chairman, then you cannot learn it anywhere again. So this governor that is coming is one of you, is the guy next door. He's one of the guys, in the state. He grew up here. There are no airs about him. You are going to enjoy this governor because availability will be very easy for everyone. There will be no mystification of the governorship, not at all. That is what is going to be one of the strengths of our style as governor.
Senator, thanks very much. And I think we will definitely hold you to account on that, should you become the next governor of Cross River State.
Sure.
I would, there's another question that came in, prior to now, and it is that, do you recognize that Cross Riverians in the diaspora are an asset to the state? And if you become governor, how do you intend to harness the experience and the resources of the diaspora for the development of the state?
I recognize completely what the diaspora means to the development of our state. This is the second interview I'm having with you guys out there. And I'm very impressed with the quality of persons I'm dealing with. I'm very impressed with the patriotism that you exemplify and exhibit by finding time to do this. So I will connect with the diaspora. I've made up my mind that I will put special advisor to that. And it will be very effective and functional and efficient. It would be in our interest to tap and converse with and interact and make sure that we benefit from our brothers who are out there. At the same time, encourage you to come back home and invest, come back home and rest when you need to, and feel free, because we will run a government that is transparent and accountable, and will ensure that our state is clean, green, and secure.
Okay, thanks very much. I think this question is a bit of a, because you mentioned that you would appoint a, a special advisor or something of that sort. Now, a question that someone submitted, and I think a few people have mentioned that, is how many political appointees are you likely to have? I think the current governor is said to have, I don't know, nobody really knows the numbers, but probably a minimum of 6,000 appointees. What sort of appointments are you likely to make? Should we be expecting another 6,000 or?
I've been trying to be as elegant as I can, but this question is driving me towards saying it as it is. I think there is no point, driving me to do any comparison whatsoever with what we are experiencing now, with what I expect to be. This bazaar of appointments is unfortunate, it is tragic, is of no productivity and relevance to our state whatsoever. You cannot be complaining of scarce resources and at the same time having everyone come to government and do nothing. These appointees have no offices. These appointees have no job schedules. These appointees contribute nothing. For instance, now that it is getting clear to the APC government that they are losing ground every day, the government of the state, the governor makes appointments almost on daily basis. 100 appointments here, 82 appointments there, 76 appointments there. Where are their offices? What are their job schedules? SA cassava, SA melon, SA, some SAs are like 10 in the same portfolio. It's making government look funny. And that's not what we're going to do at all. We're going to move away from that. We're going to allow young people develop through functional programs and interventions. We're not going to get into this kind of bazaar. It's unfortunate. It's completely unplanned and reckless. It goes to no issue.
Senator, thanks very much. We have another question that came in on Slido, and it's similar to questions that people submitted before, which is simply that Cross River State is in a very bad financial position. We are massively dependent on federal allocation. Our debt burden is extremely high. How would you, coming in as governor, I mean, this is going to be a massive challenge for anybody who comes in as the next governor of Cross River State. How do you intend to manage a state that is so crippled by debt and that has such limited, currently, I mean, the potential we know is huge, but has such limited, avenues for making, for internal, generating revenue internally right now?
Okay, first of all, everything is about discipline and proper planning. It is true our debt profile is very high. There is no doubt about that. But it is also true, for instance, that our internally generated generating revenue mechanism has been seized by a few and privatized to the detriment of the entire state. Cross River is generating a lot through cement production. Cross River State is generating a lot through the sale of chippings and so on. There are a lot of things going on in Cross River. Cross River is resource field. There's a lot of mineral exploitation going on in our state. The problem is lack of accountability. From very high up in government, a lot of these sources of revenue have been privatized and revenue diverted. We're going to set up a proper internally generated revenue mechanism, and I'm sure that we can generate 5, 6, 10 times more revenue that is presently being generated. Number two, we would not suffer the tragic contradiction of loading our state with useless jobs, useless appointments where people have no job specification, which is a complete drain on our economy. We will run a government size that showcases discipline, responsibility, and accountability. I do believe that when the right people are put in the right places and there is discipline and there is accountability and there is patriotism, we'll be able to mop up resources to do the basic fundamental things that we will do to enhance the welfare of our people and expand the frontiers of development in our state.
Thank you very much, Senator. There's another question that's coming on Slido, which is that lately there has been increased banditry in riverine areas, which impacts food security and maritime activities. You know, how will you deal with this issue? We know security issues are, you know, the security is an issue across the entire country, and we know that, you know, the governor, even as chief executive, is not necessarily in charge of security, which I think is something that's fundamentally wrong with our structure. But, you know, as governor, how would you address issues of insecurity around the riverine areas?
Look, I have made this point, and it's easy for anyone to verify. There is a lacuna between the present leadership in our state and the security establishment in the state. The gap needs to be bridged. Confidence needs to be optimized. Resources. The security vote does exist. A governor that truly loves his people will be able to make good a lot of these resources to the security agencies. Once you fund them properly, give them all the infrastructure they need, give them the right equipment, they will deal with the security situation. The second thing is related to the same local government question that I told you. Once you fund the local governments properly and you set up vigilantes across our communities, these criminals are not ghosts. People know them. Once you run an integrated system where you make security everybody's business and the people have confidence in you and they know you are serious about dealing with the security question, they will cooperate with you. The security agencies will be happy to work for you and you will deal with the security matter. I think that because our geography is the way it is, and I know you understand me, access to Calabar, access out of Calabar are issues that can be handled. Once we give everybody an opportunity to participate and people know that you are serious about security and you fund all these agencies, like I said before, properly, you will reduce criminality to a minimum. And we will do it. I'd like you to hold me to that. We will achieve it once we take over government. We will.
Okay, Senator, thank you. I'm going to jump to another question around our infrastructure assets in Cross River State. So, you know, Cross River is known for, you know, very good infrastructure, whether we're talking about, you know, I'm talking about things like Tinapa. You know, Tinapa was built to the highest standard. If you go to Obudu, the ranch resort, the same thing. You go to CICC, the Calabar International Conference Center, built to the highest standard. So we seem to be very good at building these great facilities, but we seem to be very unsuccessful in making them viable so far. What is your plan to take these assets of the state and, you know, turn them around and make them viable?
One of the first things we'll do is setting up a committee of very experienced investors to look at all of this and advise us on what to do. I believe that with such advice, we will take beautiful decisions moving forward. Since after the NSAS tragedy and the destruction that attended Tinapa and a lot of our infrastructure, I don't see real effort by government towards recovering these assets and making the most of it. It is shocking that Obudu Cattle Ranch, for instance, has been left to just waste. The mountain race that was there had become part of the international calendar, has been abandoned. The facility itself is underutilized. Tinapa is now a monument of abandonment. You know, we believe that putting together a good team as we shall, we would be able to find a way of recovering these assets, making them healthy again, and then making the most out of them. I can assure you we will do it.
All right, thank you. There's a question that came in, and you know, maybe this one is slightly mischievous, but I can understand the point that is being made.
Let the mischief come. That's why I'm a politician. I will deal with it. I'm equipped.
I don't know. It's actually not mischievous. I think it's quite a valid question. So we know that the former governor of Anambra State, in the person of Peter Obi, you know, is extremely popular, especially among young people. I think the question here is, you know, what do you think you can learn from his style of governance of Anambra State that we can bring to bear in Cross River State, you know, to hopefully make things better for the state?
Well, you know, I think the most critical thing about PDP is accountability and vision and character and transparency. And these are all the attributes that we intend to deal with, you know, and showcase when we get into government. Why you see the PDP phenomenon attracting the kind of rave that it is attracting is because it's not a very lavish tendency in Nigeria presently. And I understand why young people are excited about it. Everyone wants government that is responsible and responsive and proactive. Everyone wants government that is visionary, you know, and delivers the dividends of democracy as it should be. That's the kind of government we will offer. So maybe next time, it will be the original caterpillar that will be the rave of the moment. It will be Sandy Onor that will be talked about nationally. Yeah, that by the grace of God, it should be when we finish our ADS in Cross River.
And I think that is exactly what we will wish about the next administration in Cross River, because we've had administration in the past that, you know, everybody has pointed to as the, you know, as an administration to learn from. So we hope that the next administration, which you could be leading, you know, would make Cross Riverians proud.
Thank you.
Okay, someone is asking that how do you intend to tackle accessibility issues for people with disabilities? So this is something, you know, I'm based in the UK, and, you know, here, you know, whether it's people who are visually impaired, you know, physically disabled, you know, designs are made to accommodate such people. So I think that in Nigeria, this is a group of people that have been very marginalized. What do you intend to do for them?
Yeah, when we travel outside of this country and we see the care, we see the particular concern that our physically challenged brothers are given, we come back to the country and feel that we must do better. I share with whoever sent that concern and question, and I would like to say to you that, you know, our welfare department will create a ministry for social welfare. You know, we'll create a ministry for social welfare. And this ministry will not just pay lip service to our physically challenged brothers and sisters, but it will act proactively in the task of ensuring that they feel that they are part of government. We won't treat them as peripherals at all, because they are not. They are not. They are a part of us. And every right that we share, they share. We will do our utmost to make them happy. So I assure you.
Okay. Senator, you said something about the ministry, welfare ministry. Of course, I'm sure one already exists, but we know that the current governor expanded the number of ministries in the state. It's basically expanded the civil service more. What's your view on that? Are we likely to see the same number of ministries retained, an expansion of the number of ministries, or a reduction of the number of ministries in the state if you were to become governor?
There will be a reduction in the number of ministries. Expansion in itself alone is not necessarily possible. The expansion must be constructive and desirable. This expansion is a tragedy. It was expanded in an irresponsible way, and it has not helped our people in any way. You can ask. There are commissioners without offices. There are commissioners with no vehicles. There are commissioners that do not even know why they are commissioners.
Okay. Senator, one of the, I guess, the policy thrust, I don't know if you can hear me.
We're not going to run such a bazaar. It's irresponsible. And that is the truth as it.
Okay. I was going to say that clearly one of the policy thrusts of the current administration has been to develop industries. Whether it's a chicken factory or whatever, rice seedlings, the garment factory, etc. There are doubts as to how successful those industries have been. If you became governor, what is likely to happen to those industries, and what's going to be your approach towards industrialization for the state?
So I must say this to you. I am not a cynic. I'm not a cynic. I'm just someone interested in the progress of our state. And when you see something that is not properly thought out and implemented, you should be able to say so. The second thing I would like to say is that, some people do not have a history of our governance evolution in the state. By the grace of God, I have that history. By dint of being around, I have always been around, so I understand the trajectory very clearly. If you were around, you would have known that people like Prince Will, they tried some of these things and they failed. People have since moved from trying to set up things like this, solely by government, to trying to do PPPs, for instance, or providing the right environment, the security, the right security, the right infrastructural outlet that will encourage people to come and set up industries. Because the experience, honestly, is that government doesn't do business properly. So when we saw all these industries being reeled out, with no clear-cut implementation structure set out, we knew where it was going to, that it will become a monumental disaster. And that is exactly what it is. Forget about the plethora of industries banded on us. The reality and everyone can come here and see for himself. Not one is working as to increase the productivity quotient of our state. They are all lying fallow, lying waste, like broken china in the sun. That is the reality. That is the truth about most of them still born. So when we come in, we would look at them. Billions of Cross River money has been sunk to these things. So we will see the best way that we can deal with it. Maybe invite, they tell us that they are funding out these industries to investors. But because of what we have seen with the state, we believe not for the good of our state. We have seen enough of this government to say so categorically. And we're not being political. We are being real, we are being honest, we are being truthful about this assessment.
Senator, thank you. There's another question about the candidate's disposition to allowing the private sector to thrive in the state. And I will marry this with asking also, how open would you be to, working with, because there are private sector, led organizations like the Calabar Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. There are, we've got the Cross River Economic Summit organization, who, both of which are partners on this. How do you see yourself interacting with these, organizations to help drive and really get economic activity going in Cross River State?
I thought I answered that question, Iso, by the way I handled the previous question, the immediate previous question. I've told you that I believe that the private sector should be given the opportunity to run things, to deal with things. So I will have a very robust relationship with the private sector. I believe that that is the way to go. Government should provide the right environment, the right security apparatus, the right infrastructural outlay, and then woo the private sector to come. There was a time when, because of the way government provided security, provided infrastructure, because of the accountability and the transparency that governance in Cross River State was done, industries came here, GE came here, a lot of others came here, to set up in Cross River and harvest the peace and the hospitality and the infrastructural outlay that government was providing. Most of those industries, as we speak, have left Cross River because the very opposite is happening now. So we intend to restore Cross River to its past glory and then transport it above where it even was and make Cross River greater.
Okay. Senator, in terms of planning for the development of the state, I was part of a committee I think it was about 2016, called the Growth and Development Strategy Committee for Cross River State. And the plan was to develop a 30-year plan, development plan for the state. And a lot of work and effort went into that, and a lot of consultation across all the local governments and across, MDAs were involved. It was in fact driven by the state economic advisor at the time. It laid out a 30-year plan for growth and development. I don't know if you are aware of that plan, and how you see the importance of such a long-term plan, for not just your administration if you were governor, but your successor after you, should you be governor.
You see, one of the tragedies of our governance system is the fact that a succeeding administration comes with the impression that the previous one knew nothing. If there is a crisis in our state today, as there is a crisis of proper governance, is because the present government, for some weird reason, doesn't give enough credit to the administrations that came before it. So all the projects that those governments were handling have been abandoned, have been, in fact, destroyed. If you go to the new secretariat, you'll see the secretariat that was mooted by the government of Leah Lemoke over 8 years ago is still there. See what is happening to our state library, right under our noses. So there is that attempt to make nonsense of what others initiated and give the impression that we know more than them. You know, and this attitude is also reflected in the way our civil service is being treated. Civil service is being abandoned. Civil servants are made to appear as if they know nothing. Yeah, this is the institutional memory of the state. So to answer your question directly, I have said to people that I do not even need to pontificate on the way forward, because I know, as a former commissioner that had been commissioner in 2 ministries, I know as a former local government chairman that embedded in the Cross River government are documents on the way forward for Cross River that, if properly digested by any administration, can give you a clear roadmap as to how to deal with issues of development in our state. I'm so sure about that. So when you abandon things like that and claim that you know, you begin to make mistakes that others made before and corrected themselves. So it is a tragedy that people could run Cross River without taking cognizance of the availability of those documents. I was part of some of those documents. I have the experience of running governance in Cross River because I've served at the highest level and I've served at the local government level. And with my experience and my intellect, I'll put all of this together and provide for our state a clarity of vision and an implementation agenda that will rescue our state from the present hopelessness that we see. That is the reality.
Okay, Senator, thank you. We will begin to wind down the session a little bit, but what I would love to do...
I thought it was even a 1-hour session.
Yes.
Because I have activities waiting for me. Yeah. So my handlers told me that it was a...
Just give us another maybe about 10 minutes, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to give the opportunity to people who are live on this on the Zoom to ask questions. So if you're live on the Zoom and you would like to put a question directly at the senator, please use the reactions icon to indicate with a raise of hand. Just to remind everyone, this has been streamed on Hit FM live, courtesy of Quick School Manager and Tessil Solar. We're so delighted to have Senator Sandy Onor, who's the PDP candidate for governorship in Cross River State. Thank you everyone for joining us. And if you haven't if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, the link would be there in the comments. Please click on it, go there, and please please subscribe to it. Would appreciate that very much. I can see a lot of hands have gone up. Because I've asked the Senator for 10 minutes, I may take no more than 3 questions. Okay, so I will ask David Etim, if you can unmute. I think you're already unmuted. Please limit your question to 30 seconds so that we can take at least 2 more questions after you. Please go on.
Distinguished Senator, I greet you. My name is David Etim. I'm the Deputy President of the Calabar Chamber of Commerce. I want to commend your responses, but quickly to say, now we all know that in terms of the financial capabilities at the federal level, not to talk of state even, the issue of technical insolvency is real in Nigeria today. We can all see it. Our monthly bills, or as it were, is less than our monthly revenue is less than our monthly expenditure. Now, going forwards, I've heard what you said about how you would like to galvanize the state, but knowing that whatever resources you will come across will be far less than your predecessors have come across. How do you intend to bridge that gap without creating additional debt? Like I said, I represent the private sector, and we are standing by to be your partners in progress. So my question is rhetorical in somewhat, but I just want to hear it from you, that really and truly this space will be expanded for the private sector to take up the space and provide the necessary partnership that the public sector requires to move us forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Brilliant question. I think I've answered a huge part of that question in what I've said already. I've told you that I believe there are a lot of leakages in our internally generated revenue mechanism. A lot of the leakages deliberate, because some of the resources that are coming from these internally generated revenue sources are being privatized by big players in government. And I'm saying we're not going to do that. So we're going to free up a lot of resources. We're going to ensure that there's as much as possible there's accountability in the revenue, close up a lot of these holes. Therefore, we're going to have more money available to us. Secondly, we will not run such a big-sized government. It's a tragic contradiction that a government whose revenue base is so small would expand irresponsibly government size this way, in such a way as to make appointments to government laughable and ludicrous. We're not going to do that. We're going to run a reasonably sized government that will free up resources for development. Thirdly, I'm going to cut my coat according to my cloth, not my size. I have said to many people that there are big states, there are small states, there are medium states. We're not going to pretend that we are Lagos, or we are Kano, or we are Rivers. We are Cross River. And we're going to use our resources in which we face efficiently and effectively, without trying to grandstand and behave as if we have huge resources. I don't know whether you can hear me.
Yes, we've heard you.
Okay, good. So that's the way we are going to run. There is no reason, no need, for instance, for us to propose a budget size that is bigger than Lagos, or is bigger than Rivers, or is bigger than Kano, and label it with outlandish names that don't make any sense. We won't go into such things. We will do things in such a way that, will reflect our resource base and act realistically and tell our people the truth about what we are capable of doing and what we are not capable of, what we cannot do based on our resources. We are going to run a government of accountability and property and integrity. I think that way we will be able to carry our people, along and do real things that will impact our economy and make our people happy.
Okay, Senator, thank you very much. I can see hands raised up, but I will prioritize people whose videos are switched on. So I will ask Mrs. Feng, please go ahead with your question. So please,
yes.
If you want to be prioritized, it will be better if you switch your video on.
Okay, good evening, Senator Sandy Onor. Good evening, hosts. Thank you so much, sir. I will have to really commend you. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to a woman. We are most grateful. I'm the founder of M&G, Meet and Greet Women in Cross River. This started in June, so we're so grateful that you actually brought a woman in this your administration. Now, sir, I know you have a lot of good deal about educational sector. How will you monitor and ensure the implementation of development of the already dead educational system or facility in Cross River State?
All right, thanks very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Eddie, and thank you for acknowledging the fact that we mean well for all of you women, and you are going to be protected by this administration. And we're not going to be patronizing at all about women. You are not just partners, you are super partners. And we will energize all the departments in the ministry and show them how serious we are. We believe that embedded in the Ministry of Education and in UBEC and the State Secondary School Board and so on are departments and organs that monitor and measure the development of education. We will activate all of this because a lot of all of these are dead because they are not encouraged. We're going to do that and then set up a strong monitoring bureau that will report directly to the government. And we're going to deal ruthlessly with anybody who tries to compromise our educational system. Education is so critical that when a child misses the basics, the fundamentals, the rudiments growing up, he misses it almost completely. You build a superstructure on a strong foundation, on a good structure. Once you lose it at that level, you have lost everything. So I can assure you there will be proper monitoring, and there will be proactive action, and there will be the right funding, and the educational sector will pick up and stabilize as it should be. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Senator. You permit me just to do two more people just to balance the gender. I will unmute Mr. Odo Effiong. Odo, please ask your question, 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay, so my Senator Irunandu, I know you and I believe in you. So, yes, but I have a question. And yes. I think that perhaps the most important thing that we may need in our state is a change in the mindset of the youth and the people from one of, there's a mindset of corruption that is pervasive. Let me give you an example. Yesterday on my village group, someone postulated the best thing for anyone to do if he gets into any kind of service was to steal money and come to spend in or invest in the village. And that I was the only dissenting voice. That was a position that was endorsed by virtually everyone. And it's not new, it's pervasive amongst our people. There's a mindset of corruption. So you've spoken about accountability, transparency, patriotism. We are very far away from those things. How are you going to change the mindset of our people?
Thank you very much, Odo. And you are in a position to understand that because you have been here before. We are going to recruit the best set of guys we can see to run government. Secondly, there's going to be real orientation as to why we are in government and what we are expected to be. Thirdly, we're going to inform everyone that there will be consequences for misdemeanor. Fourthly, we are going to prove that we mean what we say by sacking everyone that goes against the norm. Fifthly, we are going to set up structures as much as possible, digital structures too, that will pick up any malfeasance and deal with it proactively. My brother, to be honest with you, I know that no matter how good our intentions are, if we do not deal with corruption, corruption will deal with us. So we're going to be very accountable. And I say so with a huge sense of responsibility, because what you have said is true. I challenge a lot of young people and say to them that, look, the problem I have is that when some young people complain about people in government, it's not because they want to do better. It is because they want to be in a position to do worse, which is the point that you have raised. You're not speaking about somebody not performing because you want to come and show how to perform. You are talking about somebody getting out so that it can provide opportunity for you to come and do worse things. That is why I interrogate students groups. That is why whenever I interact with young people, I speak to them that you must show the light. You must prove that you are better than the generation before. Because those who are even here and are being accused of dealing blows against society are even frightened about the ones coming, because they're saying, look, from what we can see, these ones will even be worse. So it is something for which we must take seriously. You know, do reorientation as much as we can, and then make people know that government is serious business and that we're here fundamentally to help our people and make sure that our people benefit from government. I think that's the attitude. And once the leader is running the system in a way that those who are with him know that he's serious about the issue of corruption, a lot of those who want to survive serving in government will take shape and do the right thing.
Senator, thank you very much. I think we will take one more question from a lady this time, and then I think we will wrap up the interactive session. So I will unmute Sandy Effie. Madam, please go ahead.
Good evening, my able Senator Sandy Onor. I'm delighted. I'm a member of Meet and Greet by Mrs. Feng. Please, sir, I want to ask a question. In terms of misappropriation and fund diversion, how will you relegate this in your administration? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think the Senator has already answered that.
I have answered that.
Yes, I think that question has already been answered. So let me just give the opportunity to Mary Effiong. Mary, you're unmuted. Please go ahead.
Okay. Hello, good evening, your Senator.
Good evening, Mary.
Yes, thank you for answering my question on accessibility, which is the number one thing that is so important in terms of governance and then the citizens. Your Mr. Senator, I would like to know how accessible this government would be, and I wouldn't want it that you just want to give us false hope.
Mary, I think that question has been answered.
Yes, I'm trying to emphasize on it. It's not enough to just say the government will be accessible to the people. Now, I'm asking, Senator, please, do you have an active Twitter account?
I don't have an active Twitter account for now, but I have a Facebook page. I'm on WhatsApp. You like Twitter particularly?
Yes, because that's where we hold the government accountable, sir. Facebook is
not all persons love Twitter with leaders, you know. Not many people love George Bush, Donald Trump and his Twitter page. You remember?
Sir, Cross River State politicians do not like Twitter because they want to hide. They are trying to, you know, they're trying to.
I don't want to hide, Mary. I don't want to hide.
Please, sir. We need you to have an active Twitter account. That way, I know I can easily access the government.
It's okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay.
Right.
I have heard you loud and clear.
All right. I think on this note, we'll bring the interactive session to a close. Let me thank Senator Sandy Onor very much for being with us for the entire about 1 hour, 20 minutes. We really appreciate that. And you've done it anyway for the people of Cross River State. And so in a way, it's a duty that you owe us, but we're nonetheless grateful that you've made out this time. Let me also thank our partners, the Calabar Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. And I would invite David to maybe to just make a 1-minute remark before we wind down. The Cross River Economic Summit Organization, HEAT FM, where this interactive session has been broadcast, and Tesla Solar and Quick School Manager that have sponsored the streaming of this event live on radio. We really do appreciate. Senator, thank you. I will, David Etom, if you're here, just make some brief remarks, and then I would hand over to Mrs. Bigwai to make some announcements for us before we wind down. David, you're unmuted.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, okay, fine. Well, distinguished Senator, I want to thank you for spending the time, but we know that this is time you are investing with your electorate, our potential electorate, as it were. So we are grateful for the time. We're also very grateful to all the sponsors that have put their money or put their money where their mouth is. And we thank you for it, and we ask you to do it again. There are at least, I think, 4 sessions of this that will occur in this series. And so we encourage each and every sponsor to stay with us. We hope that future engagements will have even more people. I'm very glad that we're streaming on the radio, so a larger population that beyond those that can respond here or comment here are listening. And clearly we know that the 2023 elections will be an election like no other before it. So I wish you all the best, just like I wish every other aspirant all the best. May the best man win, and may Cross River State get the best governance possible. Thank you.
Thank you, David Etim, Deputy President, Calabar Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. And just like he emphasized, the sponsorship opportunities for future interactive sessions. So if you'd like to give visibility to your brand on, the next one, please reach out to us, and we'll be delighted to partner with you. Senator, I don't know if you have any closing remarks that you would like to make before we take some announcements.
Yeah, very well. I will like to thank you, Iso, and all the panelists. And I found it important to do this for the benefit of Cross River. I would like to share the views of Pastor Ighodalo in his opening remarks, particularly the issue of competence in governance. Our people must run away from the small-minded issues of geo-ethnic division. Our people must focus on the commonalities that bind us and put us together and characterize us as a people, rather than showcasing the little things that divide us. Our people must speak to the issues of development. Our issues must look out for men and women they can trust and believe in, to offer them the kind of transparent governance that they need. I want to hope that this is exactly what will help our people make up their minds on how and who they vote for. I wish Cross River State the best all the time. And I pledge my unalloyed commitment to ensuring that our state is uplifted to better pedestals in such a way as to become the best in the country, which is what the dream of those who came here before us has always been. God bless Cross River State. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Senator. Edidion Ebigwai, if you can give us the announcements, and then we end the session.
Very well, sir.
Yeah, so please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for staying through to the end. Thank you so much, Your Excellency Senator Sandy Onor, for being with us on this Ask the Candidate. Thank you so much. We value your time. So for an announcement, so here's a quick reminder that this event is brought to you by TCRM, the Cross River Movement, in partnership with Africa Leadership Group, Calcima, Creso, Hit FM, and others. And the live broadcast is sponsored by Quickspo Manager and Tessil Solar. We have sponsorship windows open to corporate organizations. Please reach out to us via email. I'll post that in the chat room in a minute at info@crossrivermove.com, or call us on 090-594-2401. Our next edition of Ask the Candidates will be held in 2 weeks on Sunday, the 25th of September, 2022, 4 p.m. on Zoom, same time. And we will be having the SDP governorship candidates, Social Democratic Party governorship candidates, in the person of Comrade Effium Okokon. Please stay tuned as we give you more information via our media channels, and do well to register your attendance if you haven't done so yet, and submit your questions on www.crossrivermove.com/ask-the-candidates. I'll bring that up as well. To know more about the Cross River movement, please sign up and join us or visit us on crossrivermove.com. Also, do well to follow us on social media across our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you again for staying tuned, and to have a great weekend or week beginning.
Thank you very much, Edidion, and happy first anniversary to yourself and your darling husband.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
On this note, I will bring the interactive
Thank
session.
you.
So thanks everyone for attending. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time. Senator Sandy Onor, we wish you the very best. You know, especially as the campaign starts. Thank you and God bless you.